Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Roadrunners Unfiltered. I am your host, Darrien Starling. UTSA takes on South Florida this Friday night, not Saturday, folks. This Friday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. There's so much to get into. There's been a lot going on with UTSA this week, over the last 7 days, and I definitely want to cover some of those. But I will. Second here. I will like to do a couple of housekeeping things before we go, or before we get started. If you guys could, if you drop a like on a video to help build a community, that would be excellent. Also, if you are here and you have not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. That's going to be really important for the channel. I am really pushing this YouTube thing. I've basically kind of made this it's not a full-time thing. It's not my day job, but I am going full throttle at it. So I appreciate all the support. And with football season coming to a close, I do not want to forget about you guys. Let me know in the comments what type of content you guys want after that. Obviously, I'm going to branch out into some other sports and cover some other teams and things like that. I've already started doing that on shorts already. But I'm going to start doing more long-form content on other things, and I want to keep you guys in mind, so let me know what you guys would like. And I hope that's okay. So without further ado, here's a couple things I want to talk about that is not going to be necessarily on the preview, but I want you guys to stick around for it. I am going to get into more of the talk with Jeff Traylor and, the impact that would happen if he were to depart from the school and take the A&M job. I'm also going to talk about Zakari Franklin. I was asked about him last week, or not last week, in the last chat, and I didn't get enough. I didn't have enough information on what was going on with him at the time. But now, since some news that has broken out, that has come out, I think that there's some interesting stuff surrounding him. But I will, so make sure you guys stick around for that. But let's jump into South Florida. South Florida's not bad. They're 5-5. I know I've talked some crap about them earlier this season because the results are so bizarre. But as I started to actually watch them a little bit today, they're not a bad team. We're going to have to bring our A game to beat them. They have some embarrassing losses on their record. Some of note, you got them losing to Florida Atlantic 56-14. They lost to UAB 56-35. They lost to Western Kentucky 41-24. They've just had some bizarre, they played a Connecticut team that wasn't very good. They won 24-21. They, even look at their game last week. We know what Temple's like. They won that game 27-23. To be fair, we didn't dispatch of Temple as good as we probably should, but that's still it's just weird because they play a team like Memphis and the score is 50-59, right? And they have some performances. I mean, they beat Rice, which I think Rice is a good team, 42-29. So they're just kind of all over the place, and you don't know what you're going to get. But after watching them a little bit today, I'll start on the offensive side of the ball. And let me make sure I have my notes here so I'm not talking off the whim. On the offensive side of the ball, that team, it's weird because they're good. They're good. But they make a lot of mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes offensively, but they have sort of a different philosophy. They like chunk plays, folks. They like to throw the ball. They like to push the ball downfield. They're not a team that's going to dink and dunk you all game. They're not going to do that. That's not what they want to do. They want to take shots downfield. And it's not that like they're throwing Hail Marys every single play. No, they like to attack the deeper levels of the zones. They like to attack right in front of safeties. They like to split the difference between safeties and corners and try to take advantage of opportunities in zones where corners are passing receivers off to safeties. Well, once that corner is beginning to pass that receiver off to the safety, they like to hit their receiver are right there. They like to put the ball right there, right in that zone. So it's weird. They have a weird. Their offense isn't weird. It's not going to look weird, but you just don't see teams who are just like, you know what, we're just going to push the ball upfield. And it's weird. One of the things you'll notice is they're not a very good. And I hope the stats back me up. I actually did not check the stats on this, but just in some of the film I looked at, they're not a great third down team. And I think it's sometimes because they're not. I don't know if their offense is designed, or I can't say designed, but I don't know if they have like great schemes to pick up short yardage because they want to push the ball downfield. Their running back is all right, but the thing you have to watch out for in the run game, for the most part, in my opinion, not even from a yardage standpoint, but the guy who hurts you is the quarterback. The quarterback runs the ball pretty well. He's not as mobile in the pocket, right? So, like, whenever he's back there in the pocket, so I say this because we're going to have sack opportunities, but whenever he's back there in the pocket, just kind of, scanning his options, seeing where he wants to go with the ball, he's not as mobile then. So, like, his foot movement, his footwork in the pocket is not great. But when he does decide to pull it and run, then that's where he's a problem. So, I think what I do think we'll see is people like Trey Moore just having a feast on him back there. But we also got to watch him extending plays. So their offense can be a little bit tricky. Let's see what else I have on their offense here. One of the things I thought was really, really interesting. So I talked about in the post-game show about the 2 touchdowns we did give up against Rice. And if you guys remember, those of you who were there, if you remember, those 2 touchdowns were basically verticals from all 4 receivers. Now, they got to it differently. One time, they motioned the guy over, and he ended up running the vertical as he was motioned. So they kind of played with who was actually the number 1 and number 2 receiver. On the, I believe that was the second touchdown when they did the motion, but the concept was the same. They ran 4 verticals. They ran 2 guys up the seam, ran 2 guys up the sideline, just to kind of see, if they had opportunities. They scored touchdowns on those plays. If you go look, and you guys can, after you get done with this, go look at the first touchdown that South Florida scored against Temple last week. Same exact concept. So I can guarantee you they're going to try that. They're going to give us that look, 4 to 5 times Friday night, and we got to be ready for it. And what we haven't covered 4 verts in that way well all year, to be honest. It's the same thing that, what team was that? This is going to bother me, but there was a team who we played earlier this year. I believe it was it U of H? Oh, man. It's going to kill me if I don't remember this. No, it was Army. It was Army. Army has been killing us with that for 2 years. And I'm thinking about the Army game as well. I think it's Army. I hope it's Army. But I'm thinking about the Army game as well when they were killing us, through the air. It was seam routes from the slot receivers. So anyway, that's something that the second I seen that play and I seen that touchdown, I said, we got to be careful because they are going to be creative about how they present that look to us, and we're just going to have to be prepared to defend those. So it to me will be great if we can be over the top on some of those whenever we get that look. But it's kind of hard to see because they're going to line up in the base anyway. And they can run anything out of that. So anyway, that was one of the things that I noticed immediately whenever I turned on the tape from South Florida, that we just got to be careful because they attack defenses at what we're weak at. We haven't been great against the pass all year. We've not been awful. I think Alexander has had a really good season at corner. He's made a lot of plays. But I don't think our safeties this year has particularly perform well in coverage, and it's just been a vulnerability for us. And I think that we just have to keep our heads on a swivel for that in this game. Running game, though, their running game, I'm not that worried about. Like I said, the quarterback is the one that really gives me it just gives me, goosebumps, I guess, because I'm just worried about that. We, a lot of the times, really get exposed sometimes defensively whenever quarterbacks have the wherewithal to get out of the pocket, extend plays, and make plays with their legs. That's something that we generally kill teams with Frank Harris. He's excellent at that. We're going to be playing a quarterback that can do that. So the two things you'll see from their quarterback, he's really good against zone coverage. Their receivers they're not special. They got one dude, I think he's number 38. I think his name is Sean Atkins. He doesn't look the part in terms of like what you would think in a prototypical receiver, especially with his number, because I think he's like number 38 or something like that. But yeah, just got to be careful about him. Be careful with him. He's good. He's good. He's somebody that we have to, keep our eye on. But at the same time, he's not someone it's sort of the same thing I said about Rice's receivers last week. They got some good guys, but they aren't anything that we haven't seen. We've seen better receivers this year, and we'll see that with South Florida. But I don't know. They have a potent attack offensively, but what's weird about it is just some games they just don't execute, which is interesting to me. They just don't execute, and in some games they look like they can't be stopped. So I hope that we get the South Florida that won't execute. That would be great. But they are coming off a win, and anytime a team is coming off a win, that is dangerous because we've talked about it on numerous occasions on how momentum works, and they've won what 2 out of their last 3, so we just got to be careful. We got to be careful. Let's look at some of the comments we have. Mike Munez says, congrats on the view milestone. Yes, 100,000 views on the channel since I've kind of kicked it into gear back in, August? So, yeah, I'm really, really proud of that. Most of those views are coming from the YouTube shorts. But, yeah, I'm really proud of that. Let's see. My man D says UTSA sports. I'll cover some UTSA sports. I'll definitely stay up to date on what's going on with just the football program, obviously. But whatever sports you guys would like some coverage on, I'll definitely find the forum to do that. If that could be YouTube, it might be on shorts where I give some short takes on some of the things, but I can do that. Mike Munez says NFL football and college football playoff videos once the UTSA season is over. Yeah, absolutely. NFL is part of the plans already, and then some of the postseason stuff and bowl stuff from college football, I'll definitely be having content there. Kermit says someone posted a screenshot of a private charter flight from SA to College Station. Most speculate it was Traylor visiting the school. Thoughts? Traylor. SA to from College Station. It could be. Who knows? Listen, I've had, and I'm going to get deeper into the Coach Traylor thing here in a second. But just to kind of answer that question initially on my thoughts. We are going to have to accept the fact that we have one of the hottest coaches in college football. His name, any of these southern schools, especially in Texas, the bigger schools or whatever, or just who knows outside of Texas, but these big schools, if they go through coaching changes, he is without a doubt going to be at the top of everybody's list because of how he's transformed our program and has taken it to another level. We as supporters of the program, alumni, fan base, whatever, we're all a family in this, but we are going to have to understand that he's going to go somewhere else at some point in time. Like that's going to happen. And he'd be crazy not to, honestly. if A&M comes in and offers him, just he's already making generational wealth money, in my opinion, if you're smart with your money. But, like, they can come in and really drop the top and pay him all types of money. They literally back up the Brinkshop. At that point, you got to be human about it and think about it in a way of saying, like, you just are happy for him as a guy, happy for him as a man, and happy for him and his family that they can generate, that he's gotten so good that they have to pay him this price for his services. So I hope that we can pull together money. I hope that we can do, a lot better on paying the staff, paying the players, and making sure that we keep the talent we have so we can retain a Coach Traylor and just continue to build a program. I think that type of thing is important. Not that we already didn't know he just got a raise before this, but it could be him. It could be him. And I think, if I'm being honest, if he's on the short list, he should at least go hear him out. He should go at least hear him out. I don't want him to. I obviously want him to stay here at UTSA, but it is what it is, man. Like, at the end of the day, this dude comes in. This is his profession. It's his career, and what you want to do is keep climbing the ladder as much as you can. And A&M, huge school, a lot of history, and in the SEC, like, who wouldn't want to go be an SEC head coach? That's hard. That there's not a lot of people on this planet that even have the opportunity to do that. And, I'm sure he has his own goals that he wants to reach, and I'm sure that's probably one of them. Let's see. D says they're one of the fastest offenses in the country. Yeah, dude, they can put up some points when they're rolling, bro. 1,000%. They can put up some points when they're rolling. When I was watching the tape on them, like I said, they like to throw that ball down the field. And if your secondary is at all weak and they're not on their game and they're not communicating, they will take advantage of that without a doubt, and they'll put up a lot of points. Guys, they scored a lot of points this year. Let's just be very, very honest about that. They've scored a lot of points this year. And one of the things that worries me a little bit is our offense has been stagnant over the last couple of weeks. We haven't passed the ball well. And when I say – and people will look at the scores that we've put up, 34, 37. You'll look at some of those scores and say, well, we're putting up 30-something points. We have absolutely put up those points. But think about it. We've had some, I believe, defensive touchdowns mixed in with that. We've had special team touchdowns. We've had takeaways that gave us opportunities to capitalize on having a short field. We haven't been as potent as we have been. And I've said this before, and I'll continue to say this. I still don't think we've played our best football, and I believe we're going to have to play our best football to beat this squad. H-Band says, if we win out and win the AAC championship, do you think we get an NY6 bowl as a top G5 team? Maybe. I think someone asked a similar question in a few podcasts before this. I think maybe it's just going to be – I think it's going to be tough. We could. I'd be an advocate for it. I'd hope that, they don't penalize us so much for our non-conference play and what we did then. I hope they can recognize that, we can put some butts in some seats. We do got one of the hottest coaches. We got one of the top just players in Frank Harris that who's been a historic player for us for years. I hope so, but you just never know about those things. That stuff is all politics and stuff. So we'll see. Marcus Lambert says, should we defend them like we did against North Texas? North Texas. So listen, yeah and no. We gave up 459 yards against North Texas. So I'll say yeah and no to that. I think against North Texas, if I'm remembering correctly, I think the key thing there was we got takeaways. We're going to have to create takeaways. We're going to have to force them to turn the ball over to slow them down. And if we can do that early and just really discourage them and things like that, I think that is going to be big. That offense is going to put up some points. Our defensive secondary has not been excellent this season. They've been good. They've been great in spots, but from a consistency standpoint, they haven't been consistently uniform all year. Teams have put up a lot of yards through the air against us. That's not a secret. The stats are there. I just think it's important for us to take away the ball, and it's going to be extremely important for our front seven and the Trey Moores and the guys on that defensive line to get pressure on that quarterback. Whenever he gets happy feet, he's not the best. Doesn't mean he can't hurt us, but if we can keep him contained in the pocket, but get him a little rattled in there, I think we can. That's our best chance for him to pat the ball and give us a great opportunity to stop them. But I don't know if I want us to defend them like we defend North Texas. And North Texas is not a team that they weren't taking shots like this team does. Like, if you just go look at some of the stuff that these guys put on tape, they like to push that ball downfield quite often. Let's see. Mike Munez says, if they play fast and can't move the chains, our offense will wear down their defense, and it could get ugly in the second half. I hope so. That'd be ideal. That'd definitely be ideal. I think our run game here is going to be important. And I will tell you this. I know I've talked about it all year, but time of possession is something that we need to pay attention to. And time of possession against an offensive unit like this is going to be paramount. We have we still got to get the season's almost over. We need to get a nickname. We need to land on a nickname for our three-headed monster at running back. But our running backs need to be the focal point here. Like, we need to be able to control the clock with a good run game. I don't think we need to be in a rush because we like to go quick tempo and high tempo sometimes too and speed up the offense. I think in this particular game, long, sustained drives to keep that offense off the field, that's another way to defend them, right? Our running game and us methodically getting first downs and methodically pushing through drives and things like this and capitalizing those drives with touchdowns and keeping that offense on the sideline as much as we possibly can is going to be important. So I think that we need to take heed to that, obviously, and help our offense needs to help out our defense as much as they can, because if when coaches know that they can't really stop the run and the opposing team is running the ball on them quite a bit and they're draining clock, that makes the coaches antsy also. Because, and I'm talking about the play caller here, the play caller for those type of offenses, whenever a defense, whenever the opposing team is kind of playing keep away, that opposing offensive coordinator, let's say they don't score on a particular they don't want to get down, or they don't want to get down by more than 2 touchdowns. So guess what that makes them do? It makes them get more and more and more aggressive. And I think we can capitalize on those things because they, even push the ball down the field even more. And I will say them pushing the ball down the field is going to give our pass rushers a lot of opportunities to get sacks, strip sacks and all that type of stuff. So we got a huge, huge opportunity this week to really make some noise. But I'm telling you, this team, they're 5-5. They have a dangerous offense, man. Let's just be honest about that. Ania says, oh, gosh, Young Money. I think A&M needs to make him say no. Easy call if I'm them. I think A&M needs to make him say no. Easy call if I'm them. I don't know. The A&M thing, I think A&M needs to make him say no. I guess I don't understand it. Easy call if I'm them. I'm sure Niz will give another chat there. Mike Muniz says the more I hear big names say publicly they are not interested in A&M, the more likely he moves up and becomes a favorite for that job. you know what? Those big names that are saying no, I'm not interested. They haven't sat down and got offered a big amount of money yet. That's I think it. Listen, money talks, man. Like money talks, but you never know. Like some of these coordinators, that are saying some of this, like, oh, I'm not looking at that. And like, bruh, they got money in College Station. Like, though, listen, let's make no mistake about it. Like, they're paying $75 million to get out of this contract with Jimbo. Dude, they got those pockets are too deep. You get over there with those donors. One thing you ain't got to worry about is the Brinks truck being backed up. I can tell you that one. I can tell you that one. So we'll see. A&M will get. Here's the thing. A&M will get whoever they really really want. They'll get them. They'll get them. I hope that's not Traylor. Listen, they can. If they get Traylor in the room and they really really want him, he'll be their next head coach. Honestly, I just think that they have deep enough. Like for example, just think about it this way. They put that severance package on the table for Jimbo Fisher, knowing damn well what they would have to pay, right? Knowing what they would have to pay if, they moved on from him and it didn't work out. And they're doing it anyway. Yeah. So those coaches can say whatever they want. But until they get into that room and if they say I've had a visit to A&M and I turned the job down, I'll believe them then. Mike says Traylor looks and often talks about how tiresome a football season can be. Wonder if he's interested in magnifying that 10 times, having to deal with the head coach A&M. Oh, dude, like, yeah, it's tiresome, but he loves it. You know what I mean? Like, of course, being a head coach and just football in general is, just exhausting. It's tiresome. There's so much you got to do. The level of commitment, especially at the head coach level, the level of commitment that a person has to put forth to even be any part of the program. Like, anybody from the trainers to the players to the assistant coaches to the head coaches to anybody, even the media folks who are out there every day following the team. The effort and the commitment to the game is insane. But people that get to the level that he's at, they do this because they love it. They love it. So, yeah, he would love to invite that stress on his plate. If I'm being honest, like at some point in his life, maybe it's not this time. Maybe he still wants to build with UTSA, and I sure hope he does. But the stresses of the game is not going to weigh into his decision at all. Luis Longoria says, nomination for our trio running back room, Holy Trinity, because they're always saving our asses. I like that. Holy Trinity. I like that. Mike says, we got news. JT had another surgery and is looking at a 10-month minimum recovery time. What are your thoughts on his future? Yeah, man, that's sad. I seen that right before the pod. Listen, I think I said this a couple weeks ago. It's kind of what I suspected. Something went wrong in his recovery in the first time. They failed to diagnose something, or he may have had a setback of some sort. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if they reported on that or anything like that. But, like, I hope that whatever it is, he can get through it and, he can come back healthy. I seen Coach Traylor saying that he's not leaving us and he'll be back and things like that. But 10-month recovery time, I don't know. Would that mean would he be in the same position 10 months from now? What is this month? This is November. December, October. Oh, I said October. December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, September. So next football season, he'll come in to the year in the same exact position, recovering from a devastating injury that he is yet to be able to recover from. Listen, I hope that I hope he comes back. I hope the best for him. But man, like, if it's taking you that long to come back from a knee injury, like I don't know. I don't. It's one of those things where I'm more at that point. I'm not even concerned about him playing football. I just hope that his, you know, knee is okay. I just hope that he's able to, whatever it is, he's able to, chase his kids around. That's what a lot of people say, right? I mean, that's kind of the normal thing people say when they describe these type of things. I just kind of start hoping that his everyday life is not going to be compromised from going out there and playing football. Because if he had to have another surgery like this, something's is obviously not going right? So I just hope. I'm not even worried about the football piece. If he comes back and plays, that would be excellent. But if not, and he says, I want to, I'm done, like, that's cool also. It's Rab says, didn't A&M try to post Trey Moore at the start of the season? Why would Traylor want to associate with the program where he saw firsthand cheating and with probs more info coming in after Jimbo is gone? Listen, I'm gonna just be honest with you, bro. Cheating in college football in those ways, especially with recruiting and all that, dude, it is a lot more normal than what people even speculate about. It's a dude, like what's funny is I would love to tell all the stuff I know, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But and I'm not talking about like UTSA, but like I'll just say nobody's hands are clean in recruiting when it comes to college. It's just who gets caught and who doesn't. That's what it comes down to. Like there's a reason why all these scandals always come out. Oh, this person was getting money under the table. Oh, they were paying this person, and this person heard from was talking to such and such's cousin during a period where coaches weren't supposed to be talking to players and they were relaying messages. Like, dude, stuff like that comes up all the time. And I'll just say some people run their shop cleaner than others. Some coaches will run their shop cleaner than others, and they're gonna exercise with more ethical values than some other programs. There are some programs out there that they don't care at all about being deemed unethical when it comes to these recruits or lying or, pumping money under the table to folks. They don't care. They don't care. There's a lot of powerful donors, at those schools with a lot of money, and they are willing to do anything. I was just talking to someone not too long ago about, some of the stuff that I heard recently that was going on at UT about some of the things that they're doing. So anyway, went on a tangent there, but I don't think that would matter. I tell you this: if Traylor did accept the job, I guarantee you he'd take Trey Moore. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? And here's the thing, though, like. Traylor would obviously be mad at something like that and be frustrated whenever, somebody tries to poach his players because coaching at the level, like we're AAC school, SEC schools, and some of the other schools in bigger conferences that were deeper pockets, if I'm a coach, I'm going to be annoyed at them too, trying to come get the players we have whenever they have a whole stable of players and half of them they can't develop. That's I don't know. Just anyway, I'll move on to the next question. That timeline sounds like an issue with the ACL. Sometimes the repair will fail. Absolutely, yeah. That timeline sucks, bro. It doesn't sound great. It doesn't sound great because even if he comes in, let's say he recovers in 10 months, is he going to be ready to play? Will he be ready to play by September? And then October, it's like, do you bring him back then? Like, I don't know. It's weird. Jamie Vallejo, do conferences take venues into consideration when deciding on championship location for teams with the same conference? They take everything into consideration, from my understanding. Everything into consideration. Venues, town, city, how 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 likely is it that people from each school will travel to this particular place? All of that stuff is taken into consideration for sure. It's Rap says true, but Traylor made a big deal about it. You think he'll switch up? I'm assuming we're talking about them trying to poach Trey more. You know what? Him making a big deal doesn't mean, yeah. Like I said, he's going to be, any coach will be pissed at somebody trying to come poach one of their players, especially one of the bigger schools with deeper pockets, right? They have advantages that UTSA doesn't have, and Coach Traylor at UTSA doesn't have. So, of course, it's like the big brother trying to come take food off the little brother's plate. Like, of course he's going to be pissed at that. But, like, what happens when that little brother finally becomes the big brother? Do you think he's not going to take food off his little brother's plate just because he can sometimes? Yeah, he will. He will. 5-1. I think I'm seeing some new folks. Hey, new folks, if you would be so kind to subscribe to the channel, that would be excellent. 512 Scott B. Austin. If you in Austin, bro, we need to link up. I need some more runners in Austin to watch some of the games with and stuff like that. Anyway, 512 Scott B says, if he's offered the job, he will go. It's not a debate. Probably. You're probably right. Unfortunately. Yeah, you're probably right. It's the pinnacle for an East Texas guy. Yeah. I don't disagree. Me being from East Texas, there is a big, like, it's real territorial, honestly. Like, you're always asked, are you a Longhorn or Aggie? You know, like, being in Austin is funny because everybody's Longhorns here. And then, like, when I was in UTSA or in San Antonio, it's just a bubble. I'm just kind of in a bubble, so everything is UTSA, so I don't even think about Aggies and stuff like that. But when I go back home to Tyler in East Texas, yeah, like the Longhorn Aggie thing is still a thing. It's, like, still a live thing. So, yeah, it is a pinnacle of for an East Texas guy. I'm not surprised. I hope they don't offer him the job selfishly. But if they do, go get paid, man. That's all I can say. I'm happy for you. He's done so much for the UTSA's program and athletic program and things like that. You can't do anything but be happy for him. Scott B says, yes, sir, UTSA alum in Austin. Yeah, dude, we're going to have to hit me up, DM me or something on Twitter for sure. Let's see. Dr. Fusion says, I remember Traylor saying that he doesn't need the money and that he has more money than he knows what to do with thanks to UTSA. Yeah, but there's always a level above. There's always a guy like that. Yeah, he probably has more money he knows because he's humble. He's a humble dude. Like, and you know, but if somebody says, hey, dude, like, we'll like pay you 50% more than what you're making now, he's gonna be like, really? Ah, man, like, that's a hard, like, here's what I'll say. I was talking to some of the guys about this the other day. Excuse me. It is a whole, I think for him and his, like, sometimes you got to consider family and stuff into this too. And, like, if I were to go to my wife right now and say, hey, there's a job that everything looks sweet, it's going to be a harder, more harsh environment, but they're going to pay me 50% more than what I make right now. And I tell her, you know what? Based on morals and things like that, I think I just want to stay here at this job. You know, she's gonna have an opinion on that. Some folks are gonna say, hey, like, I'm with you, I back you 100%. But there's some folks who say, hey, like, we need to have a conversation about this. I could use a new car. We could use a vacation home or something like that. Like, you just never know. And they would not be wrong for that either. Like, it's, you know, it's, I don't know, it gets a little, that conversation can get a little dicey if that makes sense. Jamie says, I was worried about Harris's departure next season, but having McCown and Clark in conjunction with our defensive development brings reassurance. Yeah, listen. Well, yeah and no. So I think we'll be fine next year, regardless. I think McCown and ELM could develop into really good quarterbacks. with Frank leaving, I could also see that we go into the hunt into that transfer portal and try to pull in a really good quarterback from there as well. But I'm not going based on that timeline that we were just talking about before. I can't say that I am super confident going to rest my laurels on JT Clark being ready in time if it is indeed a 10-month minimum. The key word there is 10 months minimum if that's his expected recovery time. Because once you recover, then you have to get prepared to play in football games. And if a 10-month minimum is the issue, which already seems like a really bad issue because this is another surgery he's had, and he's already missed this season. He could potentially have the other one in jeopardy. He's not where I'm going to put I'm confident in him as a player, but the injury timeline is what worries me a little bit. 512 Scott B says, I'm gonna take the 512 off and go Scott B from now. But he says, what we also need to worry about is if Traylor leaves, how many players jump in that portal? Dude, that's a huge one. It was actually in my notes to talk about it. And I'll jump into this right now, actually. The thing I'm worried about the most is if Traylor leaves, it could have a cataclysmic impact on our team in a negative way if we don't get the right person in to replace him, to fill his shoes. And my feeling on this really is, and I was having this debate with Aeneas the other day. I don't know what would be the perfect route for UTSA if we were looking into a replacement. Do you go with another hot prospective coach like Frank Wilson was at the time, like Jeff Traylor was, or do you go with a seasoned veteran coach who has a big name and has a decorated, positively decorated coaching resume? I don't know because I think at that point you'd have to get whoever you get, you'd have to prioritize the players. What I will say, the one name that's floating out there, Will Stein, if he came back, I think we would be able to retain a lot of the players we have. But if we went another direction, I'd be really, really worried at what we look like next season. Joseph Madrano says, what if Taylor says no because he wants UH? If he wants UH, I'm gonna have a problem with that. Why would he want to go to UH over us? We're on the same level as them. That's a lateral move in my opinion. Like, no, I'd be pissed about that one if I'm honest. A&M can't do nothing about that. It's a clear step up. They have deep pockets. It's in the SEC. That's understandable. But U of H, yeah, that would I wouldn't be happy about that. Olivia Body, hello Olivia. It's crazy to me that almost 100% of people would figure out any and everything to get paid substantially more, but really don't think other people will. Is insane to me. It's crazy to me that almost 100% of people would figure out any and everything to get paid substantially more, but really don't think other people will is insane to me. Yeah. It's wait. I am having trouble dissecting this comment. It's crazy to me that almost 100% of people will figure out any and everything to get paid substantially more. Okay. But really don't think other people will is insane to me. But really don't think other people. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Money, I hate this. I hate that it's like this, but money, it's always, I go back to the thing of follow the money. Like, people can't help. People can't help to want more money because it gives you more things. It gives you more freedom and stuff like that. Whenever you get too greedy, I think it becomes a problem. But I think the thing here is every job that anybody has you want to climb the ladder as high as you can or high as you're comfortable with. Traylor could be comfortable with this. He could say, you know what, this is as high as I want to go. I'm well paid here, and there's no. I like living in San Antonio. There's no reason for me to move forward. But I just think he's the kind of guy that he wants to be one of the big fish. He wants to be one of the big fish. He's ambitious. You can hear it in the way he talks. He has ambitious goals, and you can't tell me that dude doesn't want to win a natty one day. So anyway, Jamie says, wouldn't Holmes be a better fit for TAMU? I don't think so. I don't think I personally don't think that they're going to go that route again, if I'm honest. Like, they've already done that, and I don't see them making the same. I mean, they did that with Sumlin. They're not going to do it again. I don't think so. You never know. I doubt it, though. Let's see. Dr. Fusion says, I definitely think that if Taylor leaves, it might mess with the loyalty and the family type of vibe that he's kind of built up at UTSA. Maybe I'm stressing about nothing, but it kind of feels big. Dude, no, that's a huge thing. Like, I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. Like, so whenever I think about, I was there in the Coker years, and I think about the foundation that Coker set and what he was at least trying to build. He was trying to build culture. He was trying to build a sense of loyalty and a sense of family. And I do think the family part he got. The loyalty part, not so much, but he didn't have a lot of time. But I think the family part he got, because I think I'm still close with a lot of my teammates from the early days. So I just think that family piece is still there. I think he did a good job at that. I think that, like, when you think about, like, people's philosophies or these coaches' philosophies and what they're trying to do, I think about Frank Wilson. And Frank Wilson, now obviously I wasn't a fan of him, if I'm being frank, but there's a lot, no pun intended, but there's a lot of people that I've talked to who played under him, and they talk to me about how, he was all about togetherness and family and stuff like that. And there's a few people specifically that will, like, go to war about his time being there and, like, what he brought to the program and that type of thing. Now, I think he kept it more within the team, because I did hear he was really disrespectful to people who were in service of the team. But I don't know. I think I say that to say there's guys who were very loyal to him, right? I think he had a loyalty element to. I think he brought that to the team a little bit with the players specifically. Well, I think Jeff Traylor comes in. He has the perfect mix. He has some good. He's done a great job building culture at UTSA, and the loyalty factor and just people wanting to play for that man. And, like, I think he's awakened the city, in my opinion. Like, yeah, we still need to get more people in the Alamo Dome and things like that, but I think the city has warmed up to him, and they love to hear him talk. He goes places. I forget where I went. I think I went to one Spurs game. I think I went to a Spurs game against the Warriors or something last year, and he happened to be there. And to me, it was crazy, the ovation that he got, right? Whenever they said, hey, head coach from UTSA, Jeff Traylor's here, the crowd went wild. So, like, I think that he is, he has the perfect mix, and we've seen the fruits of that. And if we lose him, that's a big deal. It's a big, big deal, 100%. So I'm with you on your concern about that, 100%. I don't think you're crazy at all with that. Scott B says, this is really big. There is no one out there better than Traylor to coach UTSA. Yeah, it is. It is. And I agree with you. But at the end of the day, man, like, those things happen. Those type of things, coaches move on all the time. They move on all the time. And other folks come in. I just hope that we can have them for a little bit longer. Let's get a couple more banners. Let's see. Joseph Madrano says, go with Carthage high school head coach. Who is he? Carthage is always – here's my problem. So I shouldn't be like this. What A is Carthage now? Because Carthage was like 2, 3A back when I was in school, but I understand that things have aligned. I know that doesn't matter. I don't know who the coach is. Scott Schuritz? Yeah, he's won 10 titles. Jesus. I know they're all yeah, Jesus. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a winner for sure on a high school level. Don't know how that transitions to coach. I don't know much about his history, but I'd be curious to know if he's coached on the next level or not. That's a big one. The game is completely different. I'm sure, a lot of these high school coaches, there's a learning curve whenever you get to college, the college level. So coming in and taking a head coaching job off the muscle from Carthage, probably could do it if you're putting up 10 titles, but I'd probably prefer someone else. But I don't know. Joseph Madrano says Fertitta. If you're talking about Fertitta, it's the money man. Luis Longoria says bring home CJ Kinney or GJ Kinney. GJ Kinney. Oh, this guy. Is that the Texas? This is the Texas State guy. No, I'll pass. He's not going. Scott, wait, I'm sorry. UH has so much more. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, Joseph. UH has so much more money, but still, that to me, even if they do have more money, just a lateral move. I feel like UTSA at some point we're gonna figure the money thing out. It's gonna take some time, but I think we'll figure the money thing out. But like, even still, I just can't see him going to UH, and I don't think he would. I don't think he would. Scott B says he's not going to U of H. The others we need to worry about are Baylor and Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas is a worry for me too. Baylor, I don't think he'd go to Baylor. He might. Arkansas is a bit of a worry for me, for sure. I worry about Arkansas a little bit. That one's, I could see him. Arkansas is a bit of a worry for sure. Like Mike says, what about Zakari and his future possibly coming back? Mike, I think you have a link to my notes, man. I was going to talk about that too. Oh, no, I actually gave I think I gave you guys a pre-read of what I was going to talk about. Never mind. You might have heard it. Either way. So, yes, Zakari and the possibility of him coming back. I am really bummed out about that Zakari Franklin situation. So, for those of you who haven't heard, Zakari Franklin is no longer with the Ole Miss football team. Lane Kiffin talked about it in the press conference, and he spoke about it was basically his decision. He doesn't know what's really going on, which yes he does. He's a head coach. He's going to be the one to make the final save. If somebody says I don't want to play, that means he's going to be off the team. So he's full of it when he says I don't really know. But anyway, Zakari Franklin, he's still eligible for redshirt this year, and if he graduates, he'd immediately be eligible. And I think I'm correct about this. He'd immediately be eligible to play next season when he transfers, because he'd be considered a graduate transfer. There was some talk about my lighting was messed up, so maybe I look better on the screen now. But there was some talk about him coming back, and there was a question about this last week. I didn't have a great answer for because I didn't have the proper context. It'd be great if he came back. And I don't know if you guys caught the sound bites from Jeff Traylor when he was asked about this, but he said, I've been keeping up with him from a distance, and he shared text messages. Well, he shared the details of their last conversation, and it was kind of like a heartfelt thing. Love you, man, miss you, and that type of thing. And, they both shared that moment. And That tells me that Traylor will welcome him back with open arms, number one. Number two, we need help at receiver. With Joshua Cephas leaving and that whole, like, we need help at receiver. If Zakari came back healthy and fresh, he'd solve a lot of problems. I'll tell you that. He'd solve a ton of problems. So I hope that he is able to come back. I hope that whatever the situation is with him not playing or electing not to play, I hope it's not anything, serious. I hope he just looked at the situation and said, hey, I'd rather protect my red shirt. I want to go play on Sunday someday. I need another season to prove that I am worthy of playing on Sunday. So I'll just hike it back down to San Antonio and go back to the school where I made my name. I can tell you this, I'll welcome him back with an open arm. So Zakari, I hope you're watching this, bro. Come back to UTSA. We love to have you, 100%. Jamie says Traylor knows the potential that the 210 has. Despite all of the Spurs' success, we're still very much a football city. Interesting. I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Is San Antonio a football city? Interesting. I don't. Maybe so. I lived there for 7 years. I still very much thought that it was, and maybe it's because this was during like Spurs' like peak time, but I feel like it was a basketball city, honestly. And it's ironic that I say that being on the UTSA football team and playing for years, but I felt like it was, kind of Spurs. Yeah, I mean, listen, that'd be great. I hope that we can show that or hope that San Antonio can show that it's a football city and start supporting UTSA even more than it already is. That would be great. Hopefully we can wake up some more donors out there and get some more money. That would be awesome too. Let's see. Dr. Fusion says San Antonio has the potential to be a football city, but we need more involvement from the city. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the feeling that I got, but I've been removed from San Antonio for, it's going on almost 6 years. Well, it's not 5.5 years. Is the last time I lived there. I'm actually going to be there in a couple of weeks, actually. Would love to hang out with some of you guys if you are available. That would be great. Let's see. The one thing I did not get to, I think I'm at the end of the comments here. The one thing I did not get to was South Florida's defense. My notes on that was their defense isn't great. I don't think their defense is they're not the best. One weakness that I definitely seen was they don't play zone coverage very well, but they play zone coverage all the time. So they're vulnerable against the pass, in my opinion anyway. One of the things specifically you're going to see is sometimes they play 2-man under. That means if we got 4 receivers, they'll have 4 guys underneath playing them man-to-man, and they'll have safeties over the top, but the guys that are playing them man-to-man are going to play behind them, play under them. That's why it's called 2-man under. So they're going to play underneath. When they go out under those routes, whenever our receiver will release to go out under those routes, they're going to position themselves to take away anything short. And they want to, basically try to force the quarterback to either throw. If you throw something underneath, that corner or that defender is in a very good position to make a play on the ball. And if they throw something over the top, the safety should have eyes on the quarterback and be able to jump some of those passes. And those passes, because you got someone playing a trail technique underneath those receivers, there's a hope that there's pressure and the pass can be overthrown. The idea there is to either force underthrows or overthrows, and that can be problematic. But they're not good at it. I'll just be honest; they're not good at it. One other thing that they're not very good at, and I'm not trying to dunk on this team. And I forgot, I'm going to give you guys a score prediction. I will say, for those of you who are still with me, drop your score predictions in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I'm going to drop mine right after this. But as I wrap up here, yeah, their defense, one of the things that they don't do well either is they do not tackle very well once the ball is caught. They don't. They don't run to the ball very well either. Once a pass is caught, they don't, if a receiver is running, like, they don't have 11 hats to the ball, right? They very much walk on the field. We call them loafs back in the day. They loaf. They'll get a ton of loafs. You'll see a lot of those guys loafing around. So, yeah, we should have some success, but I am hoping that our offense, the passing game anyway, they're really going to have to come alive. Obviously, want us to rely on our run game quite a bit, but the passing game is going to need to, come to play 100%. We're going to have to beat this team fair and square from pillar to post. We're going to have to beat those guys because, I don't know. It can get testy. We're going to have to play well on both sides of the ball. As for my score prediction, I'm going to go 42-24 UTSA. I think that I think our offense shows up. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to I don't think we're going to hold possession of the football as much as I would want us to. We haven't really pulled that card all year, and what makes me think we're going to pull it on Friday night. But it'd be great if we did. But 42-24 is what I'm going with. I think, listen, they're going to have some success. They have a offense that can put up some points. Our defense has been a bend but don't break defense, so we'll bend a little bit, and that's fine. That's okay. But everything should be all good. I think we should roll against this team. They are a good team, but both sides of the ball from UTSA standpoint is going to have to show up without a doubt. But it can be done, and I think we'll do it. And I think we will ride that wave and ride that momentum. It's Frank's last home game. It's Rashad Wisdom's last home game. So that's going to be huge. UTSA is going to be just extra motivated to win that game and make sure that the Alamo Dome and the folks in the Alamo Dome leave those guys, their last memory in that venue, leave it with the stamp, So that's going to be huge. I'm thinking that we're going to do that, and it's going to be a fun night on Friday. Absolutely. With that being said, I appreciate you guys for joining. Post-game show will be on Saturday morning instead of Sunday morning this week. I'll post all of that stuff on Twitter. Tell a friend about this. Make sure you guys drop a like if you can so we can build the community. And once again, I appreciate everybody for joining. I will see you guys after the game on Sunday morning. Peace.